Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm an IT professional working in Orange County, but I've spent the last 10 years driving up to Central California on weekends to help my family turn what was a tore-up cattle ranch into what is now Run Vineyards and Winery. My parents just announced that in 5 years they're moving to France, and I've got that much time to grow the business, become a winemaker, and figure out how to run this place myself. So one of the things that I love about Run, changing from Run tore up cattle ranch to Run Vineyard and Winery over the course of 10 years, is this whole place is kind of like a tapestry of the decisions we've made. And so there's really no part of this property you look at that's not functional and isn't the way it is for a reason, kind of because it had to be. And isn't also in a way kind of evolving into something else. So that's why kind of the next thing that I want to look at out here is probably the ugliest part of the ranch. This is where we create and drag wood out to for burn piles. So when you've got a 150-acre ranch with lots of trees that are in different stages of life and falling down and threatening to be a hazard to people or cars or houses or whatever, you're constantly tearing them down. You get constantly all this extra junk, this extra wood that just needs to be dealt with. And so what do we do out here? We just drag it out here with a tractor. We make these giant piles, and then we burn it when the city tells us it's legal to burn it. There'll probably be a month next winter when we can burn all this stuff. Hopefully, if it's not too dry, if it's not too hot. So that's all this was before, was an area to drag burn piles, and this is nothing we'd ever let anybody see, or we wouldn't want anybody to see, just because it's kind of tore up looking. But it just got a lot cooler because we just put in these solar cells. I have a buddy who's a solar engineer who's bugging me to do this forever. We were never willing to do it. It's a financial decision. These things are expensive to put in. My understanding is the most expensive part of this deal is the batteries, right? The idea is when it's hot outside, we're generating a lot of energy from solar cells. These are going into the batteries. When you need energy, the energy comes back out of the batteries, whether it's the middle of the night or it's foggy or whatever's going on. And these batteries are incredibly expensive. The workaround to that is you use the electricity grid as your battery. So when you're generating a lot more energy than you can use, it flows onto the grid and you get money for that. And then when it's the middle of the night or it's cloudy or whatever and you need energy flows back off the grid. Well, the problem with that is when it flows onto the grid, you're getting, say, 10 cents a unit, and when it's flowing off the grid, you're paying about 90 cents. So it really doesn't make any sense, or at least we thought it didn't make any sense until this year. I guess the right sales guy from the right solar company walked us through the tax advantages, and so in theory this thing's going to pay for itself in about 5 years. If you've been paying attention, wineries are really into the green aspect of everything. I mean, there are guys who are really smart and got degrees from prestigious universities that still only plant when the moon's in a certain phase, or everybody is here into sustainable practices. It needs to be economically sustainable, but it also needs to be environmentally sustainable, and obviously generating your own electricity and not making any more of a negative impact on this earth than you have to is something anyone would like to do if they have the opportunity to. And I think winemakers and people in this area in Creston, whether they're making wine or not, are particularly sensitive to that. So I'm stoked that we got this thing out here, and at some point we're gonna have to throw up a picture of it on Facebook and brag about it and say how swell it is, even before we start reaping economic benefits. So that's the plan. That's Run going solar. We really do something new like this either every year or twice a year, and so this is already a pretty good accomplishment for 2015, and I'm happy it's here.